Thank you guys and welcome to another episode of the Bushman Trick. And today I want to talk about a very interesting topic. I want to talk about social media censorship. Okay, I've been very affected. I would say affected even emotionally when I see people's account being taken down on YouTube and people getting flagged on Twitter, and I don't really care, about what your political leaning is. Okay, I just want to touch on this topic because I think it is of a very utmost, it is of the utmost importance. Okay, that we talk about it because I come from a place where liberty is not the common talk. Okay, a place where anybody can arrest you whenever they want, depending on their social status, whether they have a connection with somebody who is in the military, a place where your speech can be silenced. And this topic today is gonna be a little bit deep, so I really want to discuss it from a different angle. And one point I'm gonna make before we move further into the discussion will be on the issue of free speech. Okay, and what what's the relationship of free speech and the digital world that we lives in today. Okay, is it okay for private company, big techs, places like Google, places like Twitter, to shut somebody's voice simply because they deem one of his speech or his tweet to be of a hateful nature? Okay, who define hate, and what are the consequences of that to the very idea of free speech that American hold so dearly to their hearts? And this is what I want to talk about today. And guys, look, to my opinion, the internet, okay, on which those big tech companies function, I want to start there. Okay, it was funded by American people. The internet, okay, whether you are Jack Dorsey, whether you are Google CEO, you are Yahoo CEO, whatever company you own that operate on the internet, now you need to understand something before you go out there and dare to censor anybody. American people founded the internet, started as a government project funded by money coming from taxpayer, American taxpayer funded the internet. So you are operating on a space that was made possible by people who are conservative, by people who are liberal, by people of different gender, by people of whatever orientation, by people of different religion. And I just want to make a case for these people today that you guys have to be respectful. You have total disdain for the liberty of American people. It doesn't matter if, to me, it doesn't matter if those people at Google or Twitter or whatever company it is create a private company and they want to make all those policies, and now they decide to silence certain people because of whatever the statement was. The point I'm trying to make here is the internet exists because of the effort of every single American people, and we have moved to a time in our history as a humankind where speech now has become digital. We have created a space that is purely digital, where people communicate, where people share, where people argue, where people fight. Okay, and so the very nature of free speech has moved from the physical space, direct interaction or communication with somebody you see in front of you, to the digital sphere, where you can just send a tweet, and consequent to that, a lot of crazy things are going to happen. But does it mean Twitter has the right to fact check? Okay, you call something a fact to the point where you even go as far as fact checking the United States president. Do you have that right? Okay, and I just want to touch on that topic of fact checking. Okay, so the issue is Twitter is claiming that the statement made by Donald Trump on their platforms is misleading because it could lead a voter to believing that vote by mail can lead to corruption. But it could. The reality is nothing is really secure. We have seen vehicles hacked into. We have seen US dollar bills counterfeited. We have seen American visa. We have seen US citizenship database hacked. We have seen the Department of Defense hacked. We have seen so many places where hackers and people have counterfeited, people have bringing corruption. So who tells Twitter, how can you prove that mailing ballot for people to vote is secure? You can prove that. So they don't even have that right. I don't care if they point to a couple of articles written by so-called expert journalists from the Washington Post or for CNN. It still doesn't make the case that corruption or voter fraud could occur if people were to send in ballot to every single home. There is that possibility, and I'm not an expert in the field too, but I'm just letting open the window that there could be a chance for such act to take place, and we need to be cognizant of that possibility so that we can take proper measure to face those issues. So I just feel like the flagging of Donald Trump statement was totally wrong. It was totally wrong, and I understand that these are private companies, which I believe now we have come to a time, given the nature of their reach, okay, because you can't do anything without Google, you can't do anything without Twitter, especially Google. What can you do now without Google? You need Google if you want to access the web, okay, and they are the best and everybody is using them. Everything is Google. I think they need to be turned into utilities. And I don't mean that we are going to take the company from them, but the government has to pass series of policies that sort of direct, how these companies correct speech online. Because if we start to take the freedom of expression from people, we start to tell what people should tell online and what they shouldn't tell online, because these are private company, while you have billions of people going through Google every single years for pretty much everything, and Google has collected all those data about them and using it to bombard them with publicities and so on. I think it is not a fair space. So this question is very important, and it is important because the world is changing. A new paradigm is dawning on the entirety of the humanity. Okay, we talk about the third industrial revolution. We see how we talk about the sharing economy. We talk about how the economy is becoming more and more distributed, which means you guys. And I just want to punch this teacher. Okay, if today you post something like that on Twitter, it's gonna get flagged that it glorifies violence. That's, people do that all the time. Sometimes we even think about killing somebody. Doesn't mean you actually go out there and act out, your killing or your intention to kill somebody. No, some people might, but not every single person is gonna go out there and act it out. So I'm just trying to tell you guys, the digital space need to be free for every single person to communicate. No big tech has the right. And why do I think they don't have the right to police people's speech? Because the American people founded the internet. Jack Dorsey, you didn't create the internet. It wasn't just your money, your billions of dollars that started the whole internet project. It is the funds that started the project came from the American taxpayer across all line of life. Conservatives, Republican, Democrats, lesbian, gay, whatever those people are or whoever they are, they help create the internet. And as such, all of them need to be treated equally and with respect, okay? That you are not going to tell them what to do, okay? Allow the space for everybody to communicate. Let the internet be a free place for every single person. That's my closing statement.